Some friends of mine proposed me to do an Instagram art collab and the theme was My Hero Academia. I don't usually take part in these collaborations because I don't have much time for drawing and I don't want to delay the deadlines for others. This time, however, I was inspired and we gave ourselves enough time, so I decided to participate. I wanted to draw a character that I liked and at the same time practice drawing hands. At this point, the choice of the character was obvious. Tomura Shigaraki. I decided to finish everything in one weekend to be more free during the week for other commitments. In particular, the first day, Friday, I was going to do the sketch after university and then dedicate the whole weekend to the inking. And in fact, I've spent 10 hours across the weekend between Saturday and Sunday just inking, and it was exhausting. So please consider to drop a like and subscribe to my channel to see future videos in case you enjoyed this one.
Let's start day one.
As a reference for the sketch I chose a Shigaraki figure because I couldn't find the pictures that I liked. Plus, it was a good exercise to use a 3D model for my drawing.
This needs a background.
The initial idea was to draw just a Shigaraki and color it, but when I got to this point the sheet seemed too empty to me and I decided to make an urban background on it. I didn't want to copy a background, I wanted to make my own, so for inspiration I took some of the manga in my collection with the best city backgrounds. I like to see some good panels and be inspired by them before drawing my own stuff. I chose Tsugumi Project, Area D and of course the god, Akira. Volume 3 in particular is one of the best ever. Thinking about the destructive power of Shigaraki, I wanted to create a ruined city with destroyed buildings. This would also make the scene more dynamic. It took me a long time to draw this, but it was worth it in my opinion.
The sketch is finished and so is the first day.
Okay, now let's start day 2. As the inking time is 10 hours in all, I decided to do a mega time-lapse of almost everything except for small details at a near natural speed that I wanted to focus on. I think this may help someone interested in inking to understand how I personally work. Inking all the ends that Shigaraki has attached to his body was no small effort for me. I'm not very good at drawing ends in different positions, I usually draw them in the 3 or 4 ways that I'm familiar with. I chose this character precisely to train myself in it, so it was very useful. But I also chose Shigaraki because I really like him a lot as a villain. I hate it when in stories there are unfaceted, one-dimensional villains who are evil just because it serves the story but have no real purpose, their own vision of things. However, Shigaraki is well written. I love his backstory and his evolution in the manga. In a world where superpowers are a gift and whoever has them can potentially become a hero, he was born with the power of destroying things by touch, a curse rather than a gift. I won't make spoilers for those who are behind and following the story, but basically his life has been pretty tough since he was very young and he always felt betrayed, abandoned by the society. That's why he tries to destroy it, to subvert the order of things. That's why he hates the lucky heroes who live comfortably thanks to their good power. In his view, what he does is not bad but the right thing. His actions actually make sense to him. Of course, these things are not super original, they have been seen in a lot of stories in the past. However, Horikoshi still manages to give Shigaraki a feeling of freshness, a certain degree of originality that makes him an interesting character. Returning to the drawing, I am pretty satisfied with how the trousers in particular turned out. I drew a bit in the style of David Finch, which I love, so more western inking. I like a lot to merge that with the manga style, to use heavier blacks and a lot of contrast, which you see less often in manga style. I've been inking the character for about 2 hours and I started feeling a bit tired at this point.
I need a little pause.
I finally started the background. For the stone and concrete pieces, I was mainly inspired by Akira in terms of the shape, although I ended up making them much darker and more detailed. Otomo, Akira's author, which is a monster, manages to render their texture clearly while leaving them very light often. I always end up filling them in with ink. Also for the top surfaces, which I left lighter, I did not leave the white. but I dirtied it up by tilting the pen a lot, almost parallel to the paper. This way the pen doesn't throw much ink on the paper and the grey shadow remains, which gives a better feeling than white in my opinion. Tell me in the comments if you do that as well or if you use other techniques to do the textures. Anyway, I like very much how these rocks ended up looking. Inking this background was a real challenge for me, but I'm really happy with the result. Honestly, I think this drawing is a turning point for me, one of those drawings where you feel you have taken a step forward in terms of skills. It's crazy to think that 2 years ago I wouldn't have been able to make such a background even by copying, but now I've made it myself without a precise reference to follow. And even if I see many errors and this drawing is far from perfect in general, this motivates me incredibly to get better. And so also the second day it's finished. Let's skip to day 3. For the buildings, I've used a simple but effective one-point perspective, but I took some liberties for the single buildings to make the composition a bit more chaotic. The shape of the building is pretty basic, and for the windows, I've done this pattern that I always use in these cases. It's very simple, but it looks good. Then, again, I dirtied a bit the white areas with the same technique that I've used before. It's just a matter of going slow and build values little by little. For the other buildings, the process is exactly the same, I just change shapes to diversify a bit each building, and so I'll spend less time showing you details. I made a little mistake in making this building because I covered part of the drawing with the ruler and I inked some lines wrongly. But with a little whitewash it all works out. Almost always. On this building I put a little Easter egg writing my channel's name, just for fun. At this point it was evening, around 8 PM I think, and the light from outside was no longer enough, so I had to turn on the room lights. While I finished the drawing, adding a few extra buildings with a grey fineliner, I want to suggest you to go to see the whole collab on Instagram. I leave my account name in the description, trust me, you will love it. Every artist did an amazing job here, they were all great.
Just one more thing to do, then it's finished.
This is the final result. If you followed this far, thank you very much, I appreciate it a lot. If you like this video, please tell me in the comments and remember to drop a like and subscribe to support me and allow me to continue making videos. See you next time, guys.
Goodbye!